Hi, welcome to the Vergas Show. I'm Sherry Hansen. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you, Norm Buktenica. We're out in your beautiful home here on Spirit Lake. Thank you for inviting us in.
Oh, thank you.
And how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well.
You're doing very well. Norm,
so.
What brought you to the Vergas area? How long have you been around?
Well, I have this property since '76. I came up here in the Fargo-Moorhead area in '76.
Okay.
Actually, I was in Nashville, Tennessee for 10 years directing doctoral programs, and I came up here. And then Moorhead State asked me to work with them, where I was on the faculty from '76 to '92.
Okay.
But I came out of Chicago, where I grew up, and on the south side of Chicago, and went to a vocational high school, Chicago Vocational School, and then off to college and the Army and graduate school, and a doctorate from the University of Chicago in psychology.
In psychology,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
And so I've been up in this area since '76, and right away looked for a lake place and came out in this area, and sure glad to be here.
Oh,
I like
it's
the
beautiful
Vergas area, and the people in Vergas are so nice.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And you've got some interesting history. Your heritage it's not Scandinavian, is it?
It's Croatian.
Croatian,
yeah, like
okay.
I say, I should have put my Croatian and American flags up for you.
Yeah,
my parents actually came from Croatia when they were children. That was before World War I.
Okay.
And I actually have done some translating here, like in Pelican Rapids with Croatian and Bosnian refugees.
Okay.
Yeah, even helped some take driver's tests. And
so you still speak the language?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit,
I have to practice, and I try as much as I can, to practice it once in a while.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Well, I know that in visiting with you, you are involved in like so many volunteer things, and that you never ever are lacking for something to do.
That's true.
You're very busy, and so and I even had a hard time catching you to get you on the Vergas Show here. But what I wanted to talk a little bit about today, Norman, that I've always just been totally impressed is with your what I would call your hobby, and that's your sculptures and your woodworking.
Yes.
They're just amazing and beautiful, and they're the diversity of them is so much. And so tell me how you got started on that, and then we're going to talk about a few of the specific pieces.
Well, I actually started doing sculpture after I came up here.
It wasn't until you came here, okay.
In the late '70s. Well, all my life I made things and fixed things. I think I can fix most things that are broken. And I built a house, I guess, as you probably know. And I started doing sculpture and just enjoy it and do mostly out of wood. And most of the wood is from here with the trees that are dead. And
then what are those called? Those wood?
Oh, burls.
The burls, yeah. I know when we were talking about that, and I made it sound at first like I knew what we were talking about. Finally, I just had to ask, what's a burl? And so explain that. Maybe there's somebody else who doesn't know that.
Well, yeah, it's a kind of almost a growth on the side of a tree. That grows out, and I make quite a few bowls out of the burls because it has beautiful green in. And for me, when I open up a piece of wood and see the grain in there, it's like a Christmas present, you know.
That is exciting.
And, in fact, I've done some out of root systems. In fact, that piece there, but there's one at Moorhead State made out of a 100-year-old tree that the first president planted. It's about 10 feet high and 10 feet across in the business building lobby at the present time. But that has beautiful green in it, but it's a 100-year-old tree that the first president of Moorhead State had planted.
It's so neat when there's a story behind it with that too, and I love the story behind the cradle. This is just really unique, and so tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that was done 20 years ago. For my daughter was pregnant, and it turned out it was for my granddaughter Andrea, and it's now 20 years old. And in fact, Andrea contacted me at the beginning of the summer. She's in college and she wanted a futon for her dorm room, so I made her a futon.
Okay, so it went from cradle to futon.
So I told her she has to put it in her order for when she's 40.
Yeah, right. And so this is just, I mean, just really a unique design. And you came up with that design. I mean, what I like about it is how it'll come off of here, and you can take that with you and carry it, and
it'll actually, sit by itself too, even on the floor without this. It does.
Oh, it does. Okay,
over,
that is really unique.
But thank you. Yeah.
Now you do some. I know you do a lot of the wood sculptures with the bowls. Tell me about the sculpture that we have back there that we're going to show. Tell me a little bit about that one. What is it?
Well, that's made out of walnut, black walnut, and it's all laminated wood.
Okay.
And it's much more tailored and shaped. And That was made when I used to sit in meetings. I used to doodle a lot.
Okay.
That was a doodle. I have to keep
I can
busy
relate.
in faculty meetings. Sometimes you need things to keep your mind occupied. And so that was from a doodle. And I always thought that it would make a nice building, though. I'm kind of a closet architect, I guess. But
Okay.
and but that's all. That was all laminated wood that would be glued together and all shaped in that way. Anyway.
Now, besides the wood, you do some metal things too. I know you. The Cocapelli. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the Cocapelli, we have one here. When that first came about, we visited a friend in Santa Fe, New Mexico. He used to be my next door neighbor in Fargo for 10 years. And we were going through the art galleries, and we saw a Cocapelli, kind of a freestanding one. And Larry said, "Well, I'd like to have one like that." He says, "But I can't afford one." I said, "I'll make you one." So
okay, that's usually where it starts.
So that's where I made, and that's the only thing I've ever made two of. In fact, I have them from coast to coast, from Virginia to California. There's now Cocapellis because other people wanted them.
Well, sure they do.
Otherwise, they're all individual and unique pieces anyway.
Well, and that's the individual, unique doorbell that you have here. How did that come about?
Well, I make a lot of bells like that. That's about 6 or 7 feet tall. I make the bells out of welding tanks. Okay. And you hit them with a mallet, or I make the wood. Some of them are wind chimes, like the one out on the deck, and I've made different shapes of these doorbells, and I kind of like them, and they just have a beautiful tone when you do.
Yeah, well, you come into your home here, Norm, which is just beautiful itself, but it's just like coming into a museum. And I know you've done shows. Are there any highlights from your shows that you want to close our show here with and tell us about?
Well, this one was in a show originally.
It was, okay.
But I belong to the Art of Lakes Gallery in Battle Lake, too, where I do show some things there. And I've had shows individual and with other persons. But for the most part, it's for my own pleasure. I really enjoy it. I can work on a piece of wood, and the world can be millions of miles away. I just get lost in it anyway.
Isn't that nice? I mean, when a person can find that as a hobby and something to do, it just balances everything. All of a sudden, it's just like, okay, I can go to that, and then if this is stressing you, you've got that. So I really appreciate you opening your home up and showing us some of your items today. And if somebody's in the area, they can probably knock on your door. And you might be in California in the wintertime, but in the summertime, they're welcome to stop in and say hi, I'm sure. All right. Thanks, Norm, for being on the Vergas Show. And,
Thank you.
And hopefully you have a good day in Vergas.